Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, hello, you're very welcome. My name is Paul and I like to talk about Jesus the man, the Jesus before Christianity, and his teachings. And today we're going to talk about the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven and what that actually means. And by looking at Jesus' teachings, I hope we can delve deeper into the actual mentality of what that means. So what did Jesus really mean when he talks about the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven? Now, I don't know about you, but for a long time in my life, I thought of the kingdom as some far off place where we go after we die, past the pearly gates, St. Peter standing there, streets of gold and the whole shebang. But the more I've got dug into Jesus' actual teachings, the more I have to ask myself, is that really what he was getting at? I mean, what has heaven become these days? In the public mind, people hoping they will be reunited with their life partner. Other people hoping they never have to see them again. If you've been married several times with partners, who departed this life? Who would you spend eternity with? I mean, St. Paul came up with that question. He was asked by some of his people, I've been married a woman's been married 7 times, and which husband is she going to be with? And St. Paul said, you're a spirit in heaven. You're a spirit. You've got no manly. You're not a woman. You're not a man. You're non-gender. And St. Paul said that. So this sort of shows you this heaven's out the window that early on in Christianity. Anyway, seriously, common sense must tell us that if heaven was to exist, it wouldn't be like that. I mean, that is just like life on earth without the pain and hunger. Will my insert favourite pet's name here be there waiting for me? Look, I'm not taking anything away from the comfort that the idea of heaven brings many people. I can see why people living hand to mouth, seeing people dying of hunger, disease, children dying so common, only 1 in 4 survives to their teens. The idea of that sort of heaven is heaven, so to speak. I mean, people that have never had to truly suffer in this life still hope for eternity and to be with their favourite dog again. It brings comfort. However, if we are just a human form in heaven, let's think about eternity. What does eternity mean? It means forever and ever and ever and ever. That's what amen means, forever and ever and ever. No end. Now, I mean, when you really think about that, your mind can't cope with it. No end. It never ends. It's a concept that we can't grasp, just like the 5th dimension. So could heaven actually be a state that our souls live in? Well, that's what St. Paul said. The soul, which I have stated before, I believe, through Jesus' teachings, is non-gender and not tied to any earthly realm. I do believe that 2 souls can have a special relationship in the spiritual realm, and that can sometimes find those soulmates together in this earthly realm, making a relationship extra strong and special. That's rare, I believe. Some examples where Jesus does more than hint at this heaven being within us. So let's take this story first as an example. Jesus is talking to a Samaritan woman at a well, and she tells him that Samaritans want to worship on this sacred mountain. But the Jews say we must worship in the temple in Jerusalem. Jesus replies to her, I believe, in a way that's digging at the religion, referring to the Jews' belief they were God's chosen race. You don't know what you worship. We Jews do know what we worship. So, in other words, he was saying, so that gives the Jews the right to tell you how to worship. Basically, the argument could go down the road is my temple's better than your temple, which is what was going on, of course. But Jesus doesn't go into that. Instead, he says to her, believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. True worshippers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in the truth. Jesus is saying that true worship, true spirituality, isn't about external places or the institutions. It's about connecting with God in spirit and truth, wherever we are. Now that's a radical idea, isn't it? I'm going to give you some chapters and verse again so you can look these things up for yourself if you wish. In Luke 17:20-21, when asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God would come, Jesus replies, the kingdom of God does not come with observation, nor will they say, see here or see there, for indeed the kingdom of God is within you. In the Gospel of Thomas, saying 3, Jesus says, if those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds in the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. Surely that's a direct dig at those that lead you. In the Gospel of Thomas, saying 1:13, Jesus says, his disciples said to him, when will the kingdom come? And Jesus said, it will not come by waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, here it is or there it is. Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, but people just don't see it. I mean, that's a direct quote. In Luke 11:20, Jesus says, "If I cast out demons with the finger of God, surely the kingdom of God has come upon you." This suggests that the kingdom of God is manifest in the works of healing and liberation that Jesus performs. And finally, for examples, here in Matthew 13:44-46, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought the whole field. Next, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and brought it. What is Jesus saying in these two sayings from Matthew? I believe he is saying, when you truly find your spiritual self, you will give up everything earthly as you have no use for it anymore. The point I am making is Jesus is stating that true worship, true spirituality, isn't about external places or institutions. It's about connecting with God in spirit and truth, wherever we are. Again, that's a really radical idea, isn't it? Especially if you're one that goes to church regularly, as I said before. It's like Jesus is trying to get us to shift our perspective. To see that the kingdom isn't some distant realm, but a reality that we can actually tap into here and now through our own spiritual awakening. Tap into it now. It's about connecting with the divine presence that's always available to us, in us and around us. I mean, that's so important. I'll say it again. It's about connecting with the divine presence that's always available to us, in us and around us. Always available to us. We don't have to wait until we die. It's available to us now. Truly, when you start to see the kingdom this way, it changes everything. Instead of just biding our time until we get our heavenly reward, we're invited to participate in the life of the kingdom now. To let it transform us and the world around us. That's a powerful vision of spirituality. One that's not about escaping this world, but about infusing it with divine love and presence. I get emotional when I say that. I mean, I wrote the words, but I get emotional when I say that. One that's not about escaping this world, getting away into heaven, but about not escaping the world, but about infusing it with divine love and presence. Yeah, I mean, come on. Now, I know this is just scratching the surface, and there's so much more we could say about the kingdom of God and how it relates to our spiritual journeys, but I think these teachings give us a great starting point for reimagining what Jesus was really talking about. I want to invite you to sit with this idea of the kingdom as a present reality, as something we can access within ourselves and in the world around us. What would it look like to live from that place, to let that awareness transform how we see ourselves and others? I don't have all the answers, and I probably never will, but I'm excited to keep exploring this together with you, because the more I lean into this vision of the kingdom, the more alive and awake I feel. And I have a feeling that I'm not alone in that. I mean, you're still here. You're still listening to me. You must feel this same way too. I do feel strongly that our worldly realm is starting to experience an earthquake, not in the physical sense, but just want of a better word. I mean, what does earthquake stand for? Instability, upheaval, shock, fault, convulsion. They seem to fit in the world I'm looking at right now. It really is now time we move and start to fill the world with love. I'm not worried. I know that love will transcend all and we will survive no matter what happens. So let's keep the conversation going. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts on the kingdom of God. What does it mean to you? How have you experienced it in your own life? Let's learn from each other as we walk this path. Thank you so much for watching my video. I do hope it resonated with you. I do hope that it's given you hope for the future and that you're going to start finding out if you can enjoy your godly realm, your heaven inside yourself. Just try and experiment to see if you can find it, because it's wonderful if you do. The love is everything. Don't forget, please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like so my channel can grow and other people can come and find me, and do comment. I would love to hear about your experiences. And thank you for watching this far, as I said. Until next time, goodbye.